Cloud Retainer.
Cloud Retainer. Oh boy.
Do you want to take the floor? Or do you want...
So, my personal thoughts on Cloud Retainer, story-wise, I grew to like this character a lot more than when I first was introduced to her.
Sassy Bird. Sassy Bird Mom. Okay, now I get it.
Now I get it. She's a mother. I can't really say anything. Her story quest was just kind of... how do I put this?
Worried mom?
Worried mom, but also stories talking about how great she is and how, like, legendary she is and how powerful she is.
And she, in gameplay, is a support.
And in-game is a support. I don't have anything wrong. I actually really do like Cloud Retainer and her relationship with basically her children.
I do like that there's an entire, like, family dynamic between, like, her and Zhongli, Ganyu, Shenhe. I do love that in Yao Yao, and I'm blanking on that one girl that she adopted.
The one new girl in her story. I also forgot her name, but...
her too. I do love their, like, dynamics between, like, each other, and, like, she's silly at times, but I think she takes herself a little too seriously for my taste. But honestly, for, like, character-wise, I would give her, like,
a B. I'd
like,
give her those, but then... Yeah.
But then we get into gameplay.
Plunge support.
Which is,
odd.
on paper, you're like, plunge support? That sounds like a bad thing. Like, who would you use plunge support other than, like, Zhao or...
Zhao would be the only one that could utilize it if she didn't make it so
she enables it for everyone.
So, if you have Cloud Retainer, your characters will plunge.
6 times per burst, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe it's something akin to that.
A set number per burst. I forgot the exact number. I'm pretty sure it's 6.
Basically, she'll enable it to where a character can just go pogo stick.
And that actually is really interesting for a lot of characters' availabilities for stuff. Like, you can now do a plunge Diluc, or a plunge Hu Tao if you feel like it.
You can. It is an option.
She enables it. She's also a pretty good Animo healer. So you got access to Vener set, healing, and a jump boost for any character. So utility-wise, she brings a lot to the table.
She does. She does bring quite a bit to the table.
And yeah, you can use her like this, where you go hit them with an element, jump to her, use the burst, have them jump like once. She does a little bit of a CC and then just start attacking. Like, you don't have to overutilize her kit if you don't need to. And she enables that. She replaces Jean for your Animo healer option, because she does everything Jean did, except for, like, attack speed, I think.
Yeah, and also constellations that Jean has you can access easier, and some of them, I will admit, are really good.
And she doesn't really need any constellations to be used either. Like, unless we stated, typically constellations aren't necessary for the 5 stars unless we specifically state that they need them. Yeah, she doesn't need constellations. She's all ready to roll when you get her. She's a damage bonus person for Zhao, like, best support, and then Gaming, who we're going to get to next. Is there anybody else? And then
the new girl, which I'll talk about her.
Yeah. Which is just enabled by her stuff, and then throw Vener set on her if you want, throw healer set if you want more healing. She enables a lot.
She does enable a lot. Honestly, I'd put her in A.
I would put her in A. Like, honestly, she brings so much utility. That's what really does.
Gaming. This 4-star character, I am surprised, does a lot of damage. Then again, that's also with Cloud Retainer.
Yeah, Gaming does a good amount of damage. He's a pyro plunge damage driver.
Yep.
Which, for a 4-star, that's pretty powerful.
That is, I will say, he was stronger than I expected him to be.
So, as a 4-star driver, that's pretty good, because normally they, how do I put this? Botch all the 4-star drivers. Bad. So, a good 4-star driver is actually really welcome. I'm genuinely, yeah.
Round of applause. Good job.
But that's just his gameplay. Like, he just has jumping and pyro infusions and stuff like that, so he just enables himself to do stuff.
It's just enabling him to plunge, and he can heal himself off of plunge if he has constellations.
Yep.
So,
character-wise,
he's a very overly friendly boy. He is very friendly.
I mean, I get that. I just think it was kind of the same thing where I love the Traveler and I just met you. What? At least have us get to know each other a little bit and then go all in on friendship.
You can go ahead and talk more about gumming. I have to pee.
Before you go, just B.
Honestly, yeah, that sounds about right for him.
Okay, then I'll just wait for you.
Okay.
Okay.
I can take the floor with Shiori if you want.
Okay, I was just gonna, like, confirm that Gaming
B, nice guy, DPS is pretty good, solid.
He's a solid 4-star, like, it's rare to come across
one of those.
Yeah. Shiori.
Alright, story, I'm just gonna make this really quick. She's sassy, she's funny, she doesn't take crap from anybody. This is Albedo's replacement.
That honestly upsets me. It's nothing towards Shiori, but why replace an already niche 5-star?
It's literally like, hey, you know Albedo's gimmick? I have Albedo's gimmick. Okay, so you summon off-field G applications. So what? They don't get destroyed. You're amazing.
Welcome to the...
Welcome to Mono Geo.
Welcome to Mono Geo. Where do we want her?
Honestly, like, C or B sounds fine. I love her personality, and her story was pretty good, but like her gameplay is just Mono Geo. That's it. You're not going to use her for anything else.
Yeah.
She's an Albedo replacement. If you have Albedo, you're pulling for Shiori.
Or your other Geo character for Navia.
Something to do with that, yeah.
Okay.
Arlecchino. I'll explain Arlecchino. Arlecchino, I actually will admit, I have a better impression of now than I originally did. Arlecchino enforces the rules. That's basically what she does. She enforces the rules, but to a much more nicer side.
Not murdering people.
Not murdering people. Other than that, gameplay, literally the best pyro damage dealer in the game. Let me substantiate that. Best pyro DPS in the game that isn't restricted.
Honestly, that's pretty impressive. The pyro damage dealer, thing is really tight. Like, there's some heavy hitters. Like, Hu Tao is still really good. Like, her numbers are just barely higher than her.
Yep.
But, like, dang.
Yeah, Arlecchino is very strong.
So...
I'd say A or B. Like, gameplay alone is carrying her a lot. She is ridiculously strong.
I feel like A tier. I'm not, like, too fond of her character, but then again,
You haven't played her story yet?
No, I haven't. But yeah. That's...
A, agreed. She's solid. Character is... I have a better impression of her. A, solid.
Clorend. I actually liked Clorend in, like, the Archon quest and stuff like that. I thought she was pretty cool.
I really did too. And then,
she didn't really do much in the Fortress of Merrifield. She's just standing there with her guns.
Yeah, that's...
What am I doing? Risley's doing all the work.
I think it was there that if Risley ever got tired, she could pick him up and drag him out.
Yeah, she's fast enough to actually retreat with him.
Yeah, to get him out of
there. Which I can respect that.
Clorend was there. But anyways, Clorend has two sides, work side and play side. She plays D&D. Literally, her whole story quest is just her playing D&D. We got tidbits of Clorend out there, but all in all, her story, I really like her. I think she's cool. Gameplay-wise, she's pretty fun. I mean, it's just shoot the gun and then stab. Her damage potential is, I think, a little weaker than Cyno's, but that's because I have Cyno's weapon.
True.
But all in all, I think she's pretty solid. Honestly, I'd throw her to A.
Yeah, I like her character. I like her gameplay. I think she is another character who is a little trickier to get into for gameplay, and we also didn't say that about Arlecchino's. Kind of the same boat.
They're in the same boat where their gameplay is a little bit tricky.
You have to figure out how their gameplay works in order to use them properly.
You kind of got to develop the rhythm for their game.
But that doesn't mean that they're bad, and sometimes that's even better because their gameplay is not as boring.
Yep.
That you have to think about what you're doing. She utilizes Bond of Life in a interesting way that's not just like, hey, you can't heal me.
Yeah.
Which, that's fine.
It's nice. Anyway, solid A story, really good.
Bond of Life in the bad way. Seashween. Honestly, let's cover the good part.
This is the Navia part where it's like double sides, but this is like such a bigger gap.
It is a huge extreme. Like, character-wise, honestly,
she's great.
I like her. She's a little quirky, but I think that's in a good way. She's a good like counterpart to New Violette, where they're the opposite of each other. And the same thing with Risley, where she is the like good part to their like meanness. Like she adds a balance to these edgier or more serious characters. And I love how much that they respect her. Like, they seriously are like, if she says it, then it's law. Like, I love that she has that much authority with being that silly of a character. And I think that's cool.
Gameplay.
Boom.
It's awful.
It is literally the most useless character in the game.
There is no team that wants her. She doesn't give any kind of bonuses unless she's C2'd.
And then it's just a weaker version of Animo Shred.
Yep.
Which you can stack with Animo Shred. Which I will grant that you can stack them. But at C2 for a limited 5-star character, that's pretty bad. Her healing is the same as every other healer. Okay. Like, there's nothing, like, crazy about it. She generates the orbs for New Violette, but New Violette doesn't want that because New Violette has his own rotations that you need to do, or doesn't care about rotations and is completely self-sustaining. She doesn't add anything to anyone. Her Hydro application is bad, especially in comparison to free options like Xingqiu or premium options like Farina, who came out before. Just nothing really works in her kit. She runs Bond of Life, but like, why? I was hoping that she was going to enable Bond of Life for everyone.
To get that Bond of Life set?
Yeah, so that everyone can use the Bond of Life set. And I'm like, perfectly fine. Some people might be like, hey, I want to go that direction, and then she enables it. She doesn't. She doesn't do that. She doesn't bring anything to the table. Utility-wise, she is more worthless than Barbara.
Yeah. That's saying something.
And Barbara, all she does is heal.
That's it. That's all Barbara brings.
Yeah, she is worse. Because she can't be healed by her own ability until it's over.
Yep.
Meaning, she has a chance to just die herself before she has a chance of fully, like, healing up the party. And then she has to stay on the field for her burst, and for her skill to actually activate, she needs to hold it. She should have been a 4-star character, because then I could at least give her a pass, because you can get constellations.
Yep, but she's a 5-star.
So, I
want to throw her to D just because of her story.
Yes.
Because her story is what's carrying her. Her gameplay is just so awful, we can't put her any higher.
Yes. Gameplay-wise, F. I would say for personality-wise,
story-wise, like, I say B or A.
B. I actually think it'd be an A. Like, I genuinely like her.
Seedwing's story was really good.
I genuinely like her. That she's a nicer and more serious version of Nahida, if that makes sense. Which is kind of like she extremed both ends of Nahida a bit more, but in a good way.
Yes.
And I like that. But
anyways, I'm sorry, Seedwing. Your gameplay is dragging you down so much.
Your gameplay is poopy.
Sethos. Okay. So, do you know anything about Sethos? Or
Nope.
All right, I'll make this super quick. He's part of Cynos Part 2. His character is okay. He's like the snazzy, hey, how's it going there? Haha, I'm the cool guy that does all this. His gameplay is awful unless he's C6'd. So, D or C.
I'll leave it to you. Where do you want?
D. He needs constellations. If he's C0, don't bother. He needs to be C6 to be C.
Oh, here you go, Joker. Here you go.
Oh, I'm drawing this bowstring back hard. Emily, this character, when I first looked at her, I was like, this character is going to be amazing. This character is going to be busted. She is dendroficial.
That sounds beautiful.
That sounds amazing. Off-field official. Consistent dendro application. That sounds amazing. That sounds beautiful.
That is not what we get.
But she has a passive that just says, hey, if there's anyone on this field that's not burning, I lose damage. What?
Why?
And if burning happens, I get a damage bonus. And the ult, or the skill, will only get faster and proc faster to hit Dendro more often if burning is on the field.
Meaning she is team restricted and reaction restricted.
Team restricted and reaction restricted.
Well, more reaction restricted, but yeah.
Reaction restricted, but it's why. This, I'm so mad that this could have been a really good character if she was not reaction restricted.
If she worked the way that we were hoping she would work, she would be in the same category as Baiju.
She amazing Dendro application.
Because the one problem with Nahida is that enemies die
too quick.
Which doesn't sound like a problem when you're like, on paper, you're like, oh yeah, they're just dead already? Perfect. Well, now your rotations are all screwed up.
Now you have to go back to Nahida to apply the thing again.
And then reset up all of the buffs that are probably not ready. So
Emily...
This would have been a good option for...
Voltstat just says, hey, here's Dendro application on the field. Boom. Already done. Leave.
Yep. That is not what she does. She requires burning, and if they're not burning...
If they're not burning, it slows her down, and she doesn't do as much damage.
So...
Like, I will say, the one team reaction that she has is good. Here's the problem. If you already have Nahida, there's no point.
Because she does less damage than Nahida.
Yep, so there's no point. The only thing she saves is that if you're close to them, you'll take less burning damage.
So...
Like, C or D. Like, her story was okay, but it was just super predictable. Like, I didn't mind it on it. No, throw it a D. I'm sorry. Like, her story was just super predictable. There's nothing intuitive about her. She could have been good. That's what upsets me more.
Yeah,
she could have been good.
It's not like Seishwin where we're like, your kit just doesn't work. This one is like, you're disappointed because you're like, you could have been more.
You could have been amazing. You could have been a insanely good character.
And you could have been like another Dendro character we're going to talk about soon, where he likes burning, but he doesn't have to have it.
Mm-hmm.
But
anyways, D, I'm sorry, Emily. Your character is fine with me, but your story was kind of meh, and your gameplay could have been good if you just weren't reaction restricted.
And that's something that I'm going to bring up from now on. Why is Genshin Impact doing reaction restrictions? That is so dumb. Elemental restrictions for 4-star characters is fine. Because that enables, certain teams to just focus down on one thing. And they're only going to be used for that one thing. But, like, she is locked to a reaction, and now she's just useless. And why is she a 5-star if she is restricted like that? There are 4-stars with less restrictions.
Like Yao Yao.
Yeah.
Yao Yao doesn't have restrictions, and I think applies just a little bit less of the same Dendro application.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Emily. You could have been good. Oh, boy. Okay, we're starting a Natlan character.
Natlan is here. Mulani.
I also don't understand this thing that Natlan is doing. Natlan is now doing, like, a big single bursts of damage. Like, boom, a big hit. Tiny hit, tiny hit, tiny hit. Boom, big hit, tiny hit, tiny hit, tiny hit. Boom, big hit. That is kind of like all of the driver characters in Natlan's gimmick is tiny hit, big hit, tiny hit, big hit.
Yeah, a little bit.
Mulaney is a Hydro character that is really awkward timing. To where you have to bump into enemies and then attack. Her ult does a big amount of damage.
She's good for setting up, like, powerful vaporizes, because you get to choose when to set off the attack, which is nice.
You can pick
but
and
also,
choose.
it's still awkward.
It's just awkward. To be, and I'm going to say this, if you already have Nuvilette, I don't even know if you should pull for her.
Because I will admit, her movement skill in Natlan is amazing. You can ride on water, you can stop on water, you can do whatever you want on water. But again, outside of Natlan, she has a limited durability or duration, which, guess what? I can walk on water and I have no duration. You're just a little faster.
You're just faster than me, so, okay.
But Farina will get you further. And that's something that I also don't like about the Natlan characters in general, which I won't explain every single time. They're really only great in Natlan.
Yeah.
Because you get so much more time on their rides.
Unless they're C6'd. Then they have the same amount of gimmicks outside.
So, or you spend a couple $1,000s
to
on
C6 the character.
Yeah.
Because someone brought that up about an Archon that... save that for later.
Yep.
Mulaney. Her character, I have no beefs with. I think she's bubbly. I think she's funny. The story quest about her was okay.
She's nice and silly, and like she brings an energy to like the team. Like I like her. Like she's good. I'm not in love with her. I would say like B for personality wise.
I'd say B. I think B's a good spot.
Actually,
for her.
just everything under her kit, just kind of B.
It's okay. It's good. Kachina.
Kachina.
Okay, this is another one that's like an opposite side of the spectrum. Story-wise, I actually really like Kachina.
True, I do.
Kachina has this kind of development arc where she's not that confident in her skills, and then the whole tournament thing comes around, and she's actually a lot stronger than she gives herself credit for.
Yep, and then you help her build confidence, not necessarily like make her stronger, just more confident in herself.
Someone made a funny comment of, why is Kachina having a midlife crisis when she's like 10?
Actually, if she's 10, then that's kind of screwed up. You just sent a 10-year-old to war and she died.
Yeah. So...
But moral dilemma aside.
Someone made that funny comment. I'm like, that's kind of funny. That's kind of true. But anyways, story-wise, really like her. She's really sweet. Honestly, her character growth and everything was really nice. Gameplay sucks.
She is a worse version of Albedo and Shiori. She generates pitiful amount of what's
Particles.
it called? What?
Particles?
No, not particles. The Night Soul burst.
Oh,
stuff.
Night Soul Blessing, yeah.
Yeah, so she's not even useful for like just like throwing her thing on the field and then generating Night Souls for your Natlan drivers. She doesn't even do that for you. If you are desperate for your Mono Geo team, she will work, but otherwise there is no team comp that really wants her.
Yeah.
Or if you want to drive up mountains, so she does have a mobility skill thing where you can climb up mountains without using stamina with her, and that's perfectly fine. And she's a free option. You get her for free.
Yeah.
So mobility-wise, she's actually useful. Better than where are you? Kirara. F tier. Sorry. Where you're not actually using stamina for it. So it is useful for world exploration.
Yeah, but I feel bad because gameplay is just dragging her down so heavy. It's the same problem with Siege Wing. Like, gameplay is dragging her down so heavy, but story-wise is just dragging her up. I'm gonna be honest, like, if you have... Actually, for Mono Geo, you might actually use Kachina. Because if you don't have Chiori or Albedo, you're probably using her.
And realistically, you're not going to want to pull for them because they're only useful for those teams. Yep. Unless you're 100% dedicated, she is a nice sub.
Yeah, so C's a good spot.
Plus, I did like her character growth. I did like that she became better.
Alrighty.
Your boy.
In my opinion, the best driver we've gotten in Natlan. In my opinion. Compared to all the drivers, I think Kanich is the best one.
Yep. for just like general like use, like no need for like specific team like restriction comps.
So here's my synopsis on Kanichi. Story-wise, I love his relationship with How. His story is basically the reason why he seems kind of soulless is because he was abused, so he doesn't really have like a fondness of I'm assuming happiness, but that's a different thing. Story-wise, I really like him. I love his dynamic with How, and I love How. I don't know why. I love that little turd.
He is so bad that it's funny. And then like he's just like respects the crap out of
the Archon.
The Archon. He's just like, oh,
crap.
It was you.
Dang it.
Crap.
Gameplay, the mobility, he's Spider-Man, and it's the only one outside of Natlan that can at least work still.
Yeah, like
it's just a web thwip, just a
you don't get the second one.
You don't get a second one. You get one, but it's still.
But that's still useful for world mobility. Most of the Natlan characters bring some world mobility to them, and that's nice. But outside of Natlan, they're not like crazy great.
But Kanichi, in my opinion, he has passives that say he would like burning, but he doesn't need burning. He can work with other
It is the
comps.
better...
It's the better Emily. You'd think that, Emily needs to be with him. Not necessarily, no. They work great together because they synergize, but, like, it's not necessary. I thought it was necessary. It is not.
One thing that I've noticed with Kanichi is that certain characters don't work well with him because of the way that his movement works when attacking enemies.
Yes.
So you'll have issues with some off-field pyro applicators and stuff like that with him. So certain characters, you'll have to play around and see what works and what doesn't, but
I will say the best off-field pyro applicator for his burning I have gotten is Dia.
And that is
sad. That Dia has been the best one.
Because Cannibal is just
a burst, and sometimes I'm not that close enough to even proc the tornado.
Yeah, unless they're a really big enemy.
A boss, basically.
Yeah.
To be honest, Kanichi's damage is really good. I mean, that's not said for me because my Kanichi pulls have been the luckiest I've ever been in my entire life.
Yeah.
Like, I saved up for Kanichi, and I have C3 Kanichi and his weapon.
Yeah.
Like, that, like, I was blessed for that pulls. A or B. Like, honestly, he's good. I don't think he's better than Alhaitham, because he does have, like, other
team restrictions comps. And also has, so team restrictions and team, like, characters' gimmicks just don't work with him sometimes. Like, you can't do Bennett's field very easily.
Yeah, because his gimmick is you have to, like, circle around the enemy, and Bennett, you need to stay in the circle.
Which it is possible to do. I have seen it done, but it does not look fun.
It's not fun. Trust me, I've done it before. It's not entertaining.
Where
Alhaitham is just an easier version, where you don't have to worry too much about team restrictions.
His skill ceiling and his skill, or the skill required to play him, are
two vaguely different.
Yeah,
two different sides of the spectrum. But Kanichi, I
actually like his character. I think the flying turd is funny. But like I love to hate on him. I should say it like that.
That's a better term. Love to hate on him. Yep. Okay. Jalonen. So, story-wise, Jalonen's kind of in the middle. She's okay.
She's kind of a muted character. Like, she doesn't, like, show a whole ton of emotions. She's kind of, Alhaitham, but, like, in a more boringer way, where she's already figured out everything before it started.
Really smart, but she just doesn't really want to do it.
Mm-hmm. So, Alhaitham, but in a boringer way.
Yeah.
Like, there might be more to her that I'm not, like, getting, but from me, she's just like, yeah, I'm just really good, and you're just gonna have to deal with me being lazy.
Yeah. Gameplay. Holy crap, it's just free shred. it's what, 46% shred?
It's free real estate. It's free real estate.
And the thing is, I will say a lot of people are making it easier that with the Anemo shred, you have to swirl the element. With Shallonen, you just gotta go on her skates, kick them twice, and they're shredded for 46.
I think it's 3 hits, but same difference.
Still same difference. It's easier to do it.
And then she's also a healer, a burst healer. Nothing more I can say about that. It's pretty good.
She's really good, as far as I've been told and seen.
She helps enable, like, a lot of other, like, Notlon characters
to just do their thing.
Yep, and then she generates a lot of Night Soul points because she, like, doubles up on the, like, normal attack Night Soul points you get.
Yep.
So, for utility-wise, she's very good.
Story-wise, it's kind of okay.
I would say B.
B's a good spot.
Like,
I agree.
gameplay-wise, A, B, but I'm leaning more B.
Yeah, I agree with that. Chaska. Okay, so do you want me to take this?
Sure.
Okay. Chaska, I'm going to talk about her gameplay first, because I'm just going to pull this Band-Aid off.
Yep.
Chaska's gameplay is...
not good.
It's it's swirl damage. It's pure swirl damage. And that can either be good or bad. Because Chaska's whole gimmick can be done by a 4-star.
Hello.
Or can be done by a standard unit. A new standard character that just came does the exact same thing.
Except for you basically don't have to think at all while playing.
Nope, you just gotta be like, alright, here I go.
Yeah, and then...
keep in mind, I've seen her do really good damage. I've seen her do it. I just think out of all of the drivers in Natlan, I think she is the worst.
The problem is, you know how we were talking about how good Farozon is for Anemo drivers?
Yeah,
she
does not
basically
want that.
says, I cannot use you. I cannot have I cannot have Anemo, anything that can't be swirled.
I need stuff that needs to be swirled. That's it.
I cannot run anybody else on my team. Because I need to swirl.
Yep.
I also, we talked about this earlier, Wanderer has the mobility skill to just, like, fly around. She has something similar. It's just outside of Notlon, it's worse.
So inside of Notlon, it's better.
Better.
Outside, it's worse.
Yep. And honestly, like, it's nice to be able to fly around, but there's a lot of options for aerial movement, especially within the Anemo family. Mm-hmm. Like, Venti can create updrafts, Zhao can dash, Kazuha's jump. Like, there's a lot of competition for overworld movement, and also, none of that overworld movement is required for the game. Mm-hmm. Which, it's nice to just get around to places easier, or to get to places you're not supposed to be yet, or cheese stuff, because I do that all the time.
So,
but it's just...
Chaska's story, it's okay. I get it. I kind of felt bad for when her sister died.
I was hoping that the sister was going to be a playable character. I wanted her to be a playable character.
Yeah.
I like the sister better.
Yeah, but... And then she was raised by
birds.
People, which... Well, not people, the birds. I don't know, just something about her just... It's okay. I'm not, like, a fan of her, but I don't dislike her. C sounds like a good spot for her.
I think that's as far as this conversation goes. Like, she's a middle of the ground.
Yeah, she's, like, honestly, any other driver from Natlan, I would... Okay, exception for one.
We can save it for last. Let's do it.
Okay, save it for last. Ooh, that Band-Aid's gonna be a good one to pull off. I'm drawing that bowstring back really hard. Auroron. I just finished building Auroron. Auroron is actually pretty good. I will say that. His electro application is very good. His skill is easy to throw off because it bounces between targets, and then his ult is actually a good lure.
Okay.
It will bring enemies in, so where a CC, you don't need it. Auroron is actually pretty good even at C0, because I just finished building mine, and I do say he is pretty good. Story-wise, he's okay. He's kind of silly and goofy at sometimes.
He is, like, too goofy and too serious, but in a bad way. He doesn't do, like, the Nahida or the Seishween thing where it's endearing. It's more of, you're kind of really weird.
I mean, I also do love his relationship with Seed Lolly. I think that's very funny.
Yeah, like, I think the dynamic between those two, I think she does the silly and serious really well, and he does it in the not so good way, but together they play off of each other's silly and seriousness together, and I like that dynamic.
Yeah.
But I think that's more for Lolly's points than
Auroron.
Yeah.
C or B is my take for Auroron.
I'll leave it up to you.
Honestly, his story is not bad. It didn't give me like a negative impression like Chaska's did. Honestly, I put him in B. Like, if you build Auroron, I think he's really good.
Okay.
And, oh boy, Seed Lolly. So, Seed Lolly, story-wise, I think she's funny.
Honestly, I like Seed Lolly.
I do like Seed Lolly.
I love that it's kind of... How do I put this in a not, like, bad way? It's tsundere-like, but not in, like, the really, like, bad way. You're not getting the, like, full, like, normal tsundere character, but it's still that level of, like, not showing the full emotions, but in a funnier way. And then when she does express her emotions, she does it in a silly way. I think that's more endearing, akin more to the, like, the other characters I previously mentioned when I was talking about Auroron. I actually really like her, and then the fact that everyone's like, yeah, it's Granny. What are you guys talking about?
That's Granny.
Even though she looks younger than half the people on this list. But and she's probably a dragon or something.
Maybe. I actually was meaning to read her story to find out more about her, but Seed Lolly, also gameplay, really good. Like,
yeah,
she's very good cryo off-fielder.
Honestly, she is one of the best cryo off-field applicators, period. And then her overworld ability is just a glide. That's fine.
She has a decent shield, I will say that.
Yeah, and her shield's fine.
It's cryo, so fire is going to melt that thing really quick, but it's sometimes rare that you'll run into fire. But that's only one element compared to a lot of the other ones.
Yes. The question is whether or not she is S tier or A tier.
The thing is, this is a hard...
Because the thing about it is, she brings a lot of the same stuff as...
The thing is, she does shred pyro and pyro and hydro resistance. So pyro and hydro drivers love her. Nuvilette cannot stop winning. Literally,
yeah,
Nuvilette
he gets stronger.
Nuvilette cannot stop winning. He gets a support every other patch.
The question is, do we love her personality enough to bump her to?
Honestly, I think I really like her. Honestly, I'll put her to S.
I'm on like the very fence. So like that her gameplay is really good, and I should have pulled her instead of the person I did pull.
Ooh.
But we'll get to that later.
Ooh, we'll get to that at the end. Ooh,
but
I'm so excited for that thing that we're gonna rip off. But anyways, Seed Lolly, honestly, that sounds honestly fine. Her story was really good. I wish I could read more just to know more about her.
Yep.
Lanyan. So, do you have any opinions, or do you want me to take this? I can make this very quick.
My opinions on her are just due to her gameplay, because I know it. Animo Shielder, that's really nice. Gain extra resistance for it. Venor's option. Game utility is very useful. Haven't built her yet, but like, honestly, she seems like a really good option for people who do a lot of normal attacking. Which, for a 4-star, that's really good. Anything to add?
So, my main thing, story-wise, nothing in particular. Super normal, sweet girl. Nothing abnormal. She's fine. Gameplay-wise, unless she is... Because I have her at C0. If she gets C2'd, I would suggest really using her. Because it is just a continuous barrier there that'll just come back to you. Which is very good.
Which is possible because she is a 4-star. So constellations aren't as big of a problem.
Big a deal. And the fact that it's Venor Shred, honestly, I'd say B or A. Like, she's
like, honestly,
really good.
There's some good utility that can be done with her. Like, she brings a lot to the table. And not... She's the first Animo Shielder, and right now, that's pretty impressive. Okay, we've got our newest standard 5-star character.
So here's my opinion on her. Story quest, I actually really enjoyed her story quest because it talked a lot about mental therapy, which I'm super big on. I like that kind of talk about certain things, and there's some parts that were good, some parts that were kind of, because the discussion with the Traveler, but that's a different thing. Honestly, I liked her. I didn't have anything negative to say about her. She's really nice. Gameplay-wise, this is just a better Veressa.
Yeah.
Because I know people be like, Veressa can grab the elements and swirl them together. It's like, well, yes. Chaska, sorry. Mizuki, not Veressa. Sorry. Mizuki will just throw Animo on and immediately swirl it. So if you're running like Farina or Auroron or someone, basically it'll do the same thing, but they'll just continuously attack with them.
Something to note too is that when she's flying, it's hard to use skills that follow you, like Cannibal or Kaya or any ones that have Shinobu, yep. Meaning you're gonna have a hard time applying the elements, but with the actual characters.
Yeah, you need a character that can off-field that just has things that auto-attack for you, so like Farina, Fischl, Emily, things like that.
And then a lot of characters are not... Yeah.
Don't really have those things, but
this one does enable non-attacking ones.
Yes.
So that is something in an advantage to her.
And a side thing, she heals. It's not a thing, but it heals the entire team, so she makes up for Farina's debuff. Or Farina's tax, I should say.
Yeah, the Farina tax.
The Farina tax. So honestly, I like her. I'd bump her up to like B or A even. I think B's a good spot for her though.
I think so too.
Veressa. So I'll take the floor with this one.
Yep.
Because I have her. Did I want her? Kinda, and also kind of not. I tried to pull for Eonson. Veressa is good. I will say that. But the problem is Veressa suffers from the Ito problem, where a lot of her damage is locked behind her weapon and a Night Soul Blessing character. Not specifically Eonson. Eonson is better, but you can run Auroron in her place, which is what I did, and it works. Just not as well. I don't know how to put this. Her gameplay and everything, she's fine. It's another driver. It's an Electro driver, but I think Clorend, Sino, heck, I think even Ball is still better than her. And she's not bad, but there are better options.
And then a lot of her supports are premium characters like Cloud Retainer, or you have to...
Eonson is also really, really nice for a lot of her comps.
Yep.
Because it revolves around movement, and Veressa does that. Her story was... I don't know how to describe it. It had certain points to it that were good, but all in all, it felt like filler. Like, it felt like a filler quest. It felt like, oh, crap, we don't have anything for this character. Let's just throw this in. Let's just make the entire thing about her eating the bad guy.
Lovely.
That's literally, it's like, what do? We can't, like, destroy this guy. Let's eat him. What?
You can't beat him, eat him.
I was like...
Kirby Air Ride for you.
Okay. Like, they made it clear that the whole gimmick was that she has, like, a huge appetite. And I'm like, okay. There was little tidbits that explained, like, her story, which I was more curious in, because she hides behind a mask because... And also, she's nervous about her strength, because she knows she is abnormally strong to the normal human. And she's afraid that she's going to hurt someone in the pilgrimage, because if monsters she's perfectly fine with, but other ones, oh no, she will flat out be like, I don't want to hurt this guy.
I don't want to roll you out.
Yeah. B or C, this is, it's kind of like an Emily thing where I feel like they could have done more with her.
I feel just from what you said, it's more of a C kind of thing where...
I'll throw it to C. It's fine.
Just because I feel like the character didn't really sell you on it.
Not really. I thought, like, doing her story would have been more, but again, there was just things they could have done, but they just didn't, which was kind of disappointing.
I got that.
Eonson. So, I don't have Yansan. Still don't. And I don't think I'm getting her, which is very sad.
Honestly, from what I can tell, she's going to be good to just decent, especially for Notlon characters. She's going to be their Bennett-esque character. Just from what we know about her. Utility-wise, I think she's going to help a certain character who's completely crippled on their own, which we'll get to in a minute.
I'm ready for that drawstring to just be released. Ooh, I'm gearing up for that one.
Keep your pants on, man.
Keep it on.
So I honestly think that just utility-wise, probably at least a B.
Story-wise, it's okay. Like, I didn't have any negative things about her. She's just a workout junkie.
Yeah, musclehead.
Yeah.
Just kind of always at the gym.
Yeah, she's always working, always training other people and doing all that.
Yeah, a little one note, but not in a bad way.
Not in a bad way.
Yeah. I think B is a pretty appropriate spot. Like,
yeah. New guy. So, you don't know who this is.
I barely know anything about him. I like his bird.
His bird is super
No way,
funny.
dude.
No way, bro.
No way, bro.
His bird is so funny. And also, this guy, he's like a surfer dude. He's like, yeah, dude, how's it going, man? And he's a vet tech. And he's like, yeah, I was kind of forced into this business. I mean, it's not like I didn't want to do it, but more like my ancestors and all my family forced me to do it, so I just did it.
So
that's why I'm here. Honestly, I really like his character. His character is really cool.
Like good enough to be A, or
like,
just like
good enough to be A. Like he genuinely cares about the animals. Like he genuinely cares about a lot of them.
No way, bro.
No way, bro. I just want you to know that bird is part of this kit.
Yep.
And
I
so
saw
happy
that
for
he's flyer with it and stuff
Yep.
like that.
And
I thought that was cool.
Honestly, I can't wait. I'm afraid I won't get him, but I'd worry about
We'll
that.
see.
Okay.
I'll
Go ahead and explain your experience.
Okay.
Because you have a better mindset than I do about this. Because you have her, and you have her weapon.
I have her weapon. However, what I don't have are the key components to make her work. I'll get into that in a minute, but
let's go over the good parts first.
Yeah, Mavwika. Honestly, in story, I liked her, but I felt that she was too perfect.
They oversold on the she was perfect.
I will admit that, like, I didn't hate her from it, but it was something that was kind of annoying that she's like, yeah, I just do random stuff, get so good at it to be just like a pro level at it, and then I move on. I'm like, that's kind of lame. A person needs a weakness, and that's kind of what she's lacking. Like, she doesn't even have like self-doubt to a point where it's actually a character flaw. Like, it's very minimal. Like, everything she does is just too good. And you're like, well, that doesn't make an interesting character, unfortunately.
Yeah, there are ways to do overpowered characters correctly, and they just did the cliche one, which is bad.
So, yeah. Character-wise, I would probably put her in, like, B. Which is kind of sad, because most of the Archons are pretty high up there. Or we hate them for some reason. But the most disappointing part of her is her kit. So, Mavwika does not work on the same rules that every other character runs on. Her burst is not based off of energy. It's based off of Night Soul points generated by your team, and is only usable after you've earned so many Night Soul points. You gain this via either a Notlon character doing their thing, or your character attacking.
Normal attacking.
But
keep in mind, there's a big bonus from a Night Soul burst and normal attacks.
Yeah.
Normal attacks is like you're getting dribbles, little.
Well, you get 1 point every 3 hits of any part of your normal attack thing. So if you charge attack 3 times, I think you get 1 Night Soul point, and that is pitiful.
But with the Night Soul Burst, you get it like...
Yeah, well, that, and you're also getting it the normal way, too. So you're getting the 1 every 3 hits, but also whatever method they do to get their own Night Soul points.
Yep.
Which means that her burst, which is one of her biggest pieces of her kit, is locked behind restricted teams. And because of that, she becomes a lot harder to use in normal teams. Her elemental skill has one of 2 things you can do with it. One, you can tap it and it'll just randomly hit an enemy with fire every so often. It's not bad, it's just not that great. And it also generates a decent amount of Night Soul points, so if you wanted her for support for a different Nalon character, it's viable. Or you can hold it and go in her motorcycle mode, and that does a good amount of damage. But yeah, my problem with her isn't necessarily her kit or even her team restriction, is that she breaks the mold of the Archon. Archons are supposed to be a general use, mostly for every team that you can use in that position. They're a general buffing character of some kind. Zhongli is the best shield in the game. Venti is the best CC in the game. Like, his pull is the best. Ball has the best electro application in the game. And then she's also a swap-on driver if you want it.
She's also a really good battery, too.
Yeah, and a battery. I'm skimming over a lot of the little stuff that they do as well, but they're for support. Then you got Nahida, which is the best Dendro applicator in the game, which makes her the best character in the game. That she enables so much. But in the end, even if you want to count, whether or not you want to count Farina as part of the Archon crew, because she kind of is, but kind of not, she is one of the best supports in the game for healing, enabling artifacts, and just a general damage bonus. She does not bring the same level of team utility. In order to use Mavwika correctly, you need Shalonin and Silali. You need them in order to actually use her properly. You need at minimum three Notlon characters on that team in order to make it work. If you do not have those Notlon characters, you are halving your damage each time you are missing one. And she becomes harder and harder to use.
Her damage becomes less and less potent.
Yes. The thing about it is you won't be able to make rotations otherwise. Because you cannot generate particles otherwise. You cannot give her more energy recharge to make up for it. You can do nothing to help her with this problem. It has to be resolved by paying money to buy the characters she needs. And they are premium characters. They're not even 4 stars. I don't know how well Yeon-san helps this situation. I want to get her to try it out. So that way I might be able to use Mavwika. But right now Mavwika, I have no team that can use her. Because her entire gimmick is stuck behind premium characters that I did not get. Because I'm a free-to-play.
Mavwika asks, do you have Shalonin or Sitlali? No? Alright, now I'm just going to sit on the bench.
What Archon can you seriously bench?
None.
All of them have such a prominent position in their field that there is barely anybody besides niche situations that there are better options. Is there a better Dendro applicator than Nahida? For certain circumstances, Baiju can be used, but most of the time, Nahida will do the job the best. Shield. Zhongli has been uncontested since 1.3, 1.4.
The only other contestant he has had is 2 characters, a 4-star Noelle, and then Lanyan can just continuously regen a barrier. So technically, her barrier could be strong.
I mean, that and there's some good barriers out there, but it's still uncontested.
It's still like the strongest single-handed barrier in the game.
But like Venti has the best suction on any CC. That's just how it works. I mean, whether or not you can actually hit them after they get pulled off the ground is a different story.
Entirely different battle.
But for like just pulling enemies, nobody does it.
For crowd control, it works, and it's continuous. It stays there.
Electro application. Ball does a great job. And then if you want to, then she brings another thing to the table. She is a electro driver, a swap-on driver, which is really good.
And also she can charge ults for your entire team.
And then Farina and Nubilet, I'm just going to talk about Farina. Farina just straight up buffs everything.
There's not a person that does not want Farina.
Mavwika is just so hard to use because the 4 stars that are available either are not a great matchup because the reaction is kind of not great.
It's a
overload. Kachina is a joke for creating Night Soul points, meaning I'm running with Pyro Traveler trying to generate particles for you. And then that's also its own joke.
I actually have a few things to say about Pyro Traveler, but go ahead and keep going about Mavwika.
Yeah, I'm sad that I have to say this, but I regret pulling Mavwika. And that really hurts.
To an Archon.
That'd be one thing if it's like, oh, I pulled this character thinking that I could use them for this, but they didn't do what I wanted them to do. Okay, fine. Well, that's
a different story.
That's a different story. But an Archon should be a safe bet. They get rotated every like year consistently, every like so many months. They've got a consistent rotation between all of them. They should be a safe bet. I should not regret pulling an Archon.
I should not be punished for pulling this driver, but this driver needs other parts to make it work.
Basically, she is Ito, except for Ito requiring 2 other
premium 5 stars.
Premium 5 stars. Sorry, I had some burps. You need premium 5 stars to make her work. And that is already really hard because guess who comes at the exact same time? The
Lauren or Seat Lolly. They'll go at the exact same time.
They go at the exact same time. So if you want her, you're going to have to spend money, and that is dumb. For a free-to-play, do not pull for Mavwika.
Unless you have Shalonen and Seat Lolly.
At least one of the two.
At least one of them.
You can get away with one of the two. Because I'm going to try a team because I know somebody who can do a lot of normal attacks quickly. I was going to do an Ayato build with her, where I swap onto Ayato, I do his thing, I swap onto Mavwika while Ayato's burst's going, and then just do a bunch of Vaporize and stuff like that. It works for one rotation. Because I can't get enough Night Soul points to get the burst back on. Meaning I have 2 or 3 rotations where Mavwika's doing nothing but her off-field pyro application, which is okay, but it's worse than Cannibals.
That is really sad that a 4-star is better than an Archon.
She is still the queen of pyro.
Still is.
Mavwika did not overthrow the one and the only man-eating person Cannibal.
She didn't?
Like, yes, there are some teams that can utilize her for her off-field application, but the thing about it is that's all she's bringing to the table. And you can get a lot more from Cannibal, because she does a lot more damage with the burst.
One thing I also want to add as well to the Mavwika is what's really upsetting is when you pull a character and you have the character, and then it's just like, oh, great, I need these other parts to, like, do her entire kits. I hate saying to, like, other people that, like, oh, I think someone else also mentioned this, that, oh, if I needed a pyro driver, who should I get? He said, no joke, get Arlecchino. There is no reason for you to pull Mavwika unless you have these 2 Matlab characters. Pull for Arlecchino. That is, like, the still best pyro driver. But if you have one or both of them, Mavwika is better.
Yeah.
because of how fast her ult will now charge with those two and how high her damage ceiling is.
That and both of them give such a big buff towards Mavwika and enable her to get away with a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Because you've got a healer and a shielder and constant cryo application, so you're doing vaporize. Melt.
I was
Excuse
like
me.
vaporize.
Wrong reaction. You're doing melt all the time, so you've got good reaction. You got, and that trio team comp works. It works. Literally, the last slot can be anyone.
Mm-hmm.
You can throw an animal character on there for shred if you wanted more shred. If not, you can do like Farina and get an extra buff or something. Like you can, the last slot is open.
Yep.
But unless you have those three together, honestly, she is the weakest pyro driver.
That's really sad to say that people would be all like, oh, Mavwika or D-Luke, and they're going to be like, pull for D-Luke.
That is seriously sad.
Like, oh, I need a good pyro claymore user. Do you have Seed Lolly or Shalonen? No? Get D-Luke.
Yeah, D-Luke's your only option.
D-Luke is your only option.
Or get, where is he?
Gaming.
Yeah, Gaming. Gaming is
A
probably
4-star.
Gaming is probably going to do better for you for a pyro driver than Mavwika will, without the proper team comp. And that may change in the future if we get better 4-star
Characters that help.
But I doubt they're going to do that because guess what they want? Money.
They want money. They want to sell their character. They're going to be like, if we make it to where they have to pull this other character to make her work, then we'll get double the profit.
I will admit that her movement skills are interesting, but it is also not the greatest part.
So, just to also let you know, there is a point to fix her gimmick. Her gimmick of, I can only have Natlan characters, but guess what constellation it is? I think it's C4.
Yeah.
C4 to fix the, I can only have these two characters in my party.
So, let me get this straight. Either I can pull 2 premium characters, or I can pull 4 copies of her.
Yep.
So, my 2 options are spending, like, $750 or $1,000. Take your pick.
Take your pick. Which do you want?
I think I'd prefer to have the 2 other characters, because they're actually useful in other situations, too.
Mm-hmm.
Other than for Mavwika. But Mavwika is team-locked. Completely and utterly.
That is awful to do to an orc.
They did her so dirty for, like, just... Why make her not team-locked, character-locked?
Yeah, it's...
Like, you can't even replace it with other, like, Natlan drivers. Because they just will not work together. Mm-hmm. Or you just won't use Mavwika.
Yep.
And that's... It's super disappointing. Because I was actually super hyped about getting Mavwika. I saved up. I was ready. Day 1, I got her. And I'm like, okay, let's build her. Let's get her ready to roll. And after I built her, all I felt was disappointment.
I am so glad that when I looked at these 2 characters, I'm like, Nuvilet would like this partner, Seat Lolly. I'm going to get it. That was the best decision I ever made. I'm so glad I pulled for Seat Lolly.
I mean, like, the whole motorcycle thing, the movement that you get from it is good, but it's also worse than all of the other individual, like, characters' versions of her thing. Like, the riding on water, you can only do it for, like, 5 seconds. The flying in the air, you can only do it for, like, 5 seconds. For the driving on the ground, you can drive pretty fast, I guess. So it's the jack of all trades, master of none of them for just movement skills, which is fine. And in Natlan, it's not a big deal. It's actually pretty good movement, but outside of Natlan, it's just kind of okay.
Yeah.
And the fact that you can only swap to her while, like, climbing or running and stuff like that in Natlan is kind of dumb.
Yep. I'm really sad that people that, like, got her are now like, that it's a regret character. That is Archon is a regret character for some people.
You know what they should have done for Mavwika? and I may or may not cut this out. They could have made Mavuika do this. She enables every other character to build up a Night Soul meter thing, and then afterwards she gives a buff and pyro application afterwards.
That would have been great.
You could have lowered her attack power on her bike. She could have just been there to enable everyone else to use Night Soul points so that they could support everyone else too. Like, if they do so many attacks, they build up their Night Soul points. If they get their Night Soul burst or their emulated Night Soul burst, they just start doing extra like pyro attacks along with it or something. Or anything. But right now her kit does not work.
Yeah.
That how
I thought, man, the Pyro Archon, when she's out, dude, she's gonna be really good and really
she's gonna
strong.
replace Cannibal
like immediately, like for off-field pyro
we're gonna
application.
dethrone her. Like, she's going to get out of here.
Like, she's finally going to be dethroned. It only took 5 versions.
She can take the Stove Demon, get out of here.
And no, she didn't. She attempted to approach the throne, and Goba pushed her back down.
No, yeah, just
Goba just said, no, get back down there.
who do you think you are? I am the Stove Demon.
I am the Messiah.
And this is my god.
You know what's also something that's a side note as well? That the whole, oh, she's perfect thing, and they really advocate that she is human. She is the human Archon. Yet every other Archon we have had felt more human than she did.
That is true.
Like, all of them. Every single one. Even, I'll give it to Ball. She felt more human than Mavuika did.
Yeah, there was some level of progression or regression or any kind of movement with each of the Archons. Like, they felt that they were living in this world, where she feels like she just exists in
She is the world.
She is the world. She is a bubble that exists outside of space and time, more than the character who already lives outside of space and time. Hello, Ball.
Hello, Ball.
But that was the whole, like, gimmick of it. Where hers, it just doesn't work. I don't hate her.
I don't hate her either, but
like,
it's...
and her gameplay kind of works. And when it works really well.
Oh no, when, like, people that have the 2 characters, or even just one, her damage is high.
I'll tell you what. When I do my first rotation with Mavuika and Ayato, and just do that, she hits like a gosh dang truck. Like, honestly, she hits hard. The problem is I cannot make multiple rotations. Meaning, if I'm fighting just like a single boss, and then I can leave and build up the Night Soul points, or doesn't matter how long it takes me, then it works just fine. Like, she works. But if I have to make multiple rotations for a boss, then she is worthless to me. And that's sad.
Yeah, that is very sad. Same thing, I don't hate her, but there's not really a whole lot going for her, and her gameplay is just super restricting, that I'm really glad I did not pull for her, and I don't know if I'll ever pull for her.
Unless they do something to fix it.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to...
I will sooner pull for Venti before I'll pull for her.
I think she gets the lowest Archon score of the C.
Yeah, honestly, I agree with that. That's really sad to see an Archon down there.
Yeah. Okay, well, you got your, like, 30 seconds for Traveler. One, two, no.
Okay, honestly, this won't take long. Pyro Traveler. He sucks. He is a Pyro driver. So they're like, oh, he can off-field, yeah, for like 5 seconds. And it's pitiful, like, bloop.
The only reason I was using Pyro Traveler is to try to make up for Mavuika's Night Soul points.
His C6 makes it to where when you pop his burst, he gets Pyro Infusion. He is a driver. He is supposed to be a Pyro driver. Basically, he is bootleg Mavuika.
I literally run him with Sacrificial, so that way I can pop his skill, and then use his skill again, swap off on him.
That's it. He's awful. He is just
Honestly,
another Pyro driver.
Pyro Traveler is just bad.
It's just bad. Like, you could, like, literally just use D-Luke. He's right there. Use Ga Ming. You get a Cannibal.
You get a free Cannibal. You don't understand that. You get a free one by just, like, wandering the world. I'm pretty sure you get it from just the quest. You get her. She is free. There is no reason why you shouldn't have her. Yep. Okay, guys. Any final words you want to say?
No, I'm just disappointed that an Archon is in C. Mavuika is in the same category. I need you to understand, is in the same placement as Dia. That is insulting.
It is. That is truly sad.
That is insulting. I really hope they do something with Mavuika, because that an Archon should not have that.
I hope they there's a couple ways that they can fix her. I just hope they do.
I hope they do too, because that'd be really nice to do.
Okay, guys, we shall see you next time.
Bye-bye.